Frankie here. Today I'm joined by Keebz to talk about experiences and perspectives on breaking. Keebz, thank you so much for joining me today. It truly is an honor.
Thanks for having me.
What keeps you busy nowadays?
Just family, my son, working, new place, get back into the rhythm of things after 2020. So, also music. I like to make music a lot, me and my brother, so that's keeping me really busy nowadays.
Is there a particular style of music?
Instrumental beats, instrumental hip-hop beats, but we have a variety of different things.
Is there anything we can break to?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm gonna be putting out stuff pretty soon, like on Bandcamp and stuff, YouTube.
Now this is actually something I never knew about you. Is this something that you've always had?
Pretty much. I come from a family of musicians. Like my father was a drummer and musician, my brother too, my grandma, my uncles, and everyone, they were all musicians. Sort of how I really got into dance.
So did you play musical instruments growing up?
A little bit. I learned bass, bass guitar. Not that I got any good at it, but I was learning that, then I picked up a beat machine and some DJ skills. Okay. But I'm not that good at DJ.
Yeah, so to tie it back into breaking, do you have any insight looking back at your upbringing? How did that affect your style or your approach for the dance?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was such different times because it was the mid-90s when I got into breaking. The music, the environment, the foundation of the dance was really strong. So the people that I was watching were very traditional style of breaking, especially in the area I was in Texas. They were different from all the rest of Texas. That definitely helped me out a lot and played into how I break. Are
there any crews that we would know from that era? Or?
Not really, because, like I said, it was like 95, 96, 97. I know the names of the crews, and I actually put up a video clip on YouTube if anyone's interested to go see it. But it was like one of the most impactful battles that I've ever witnessed in person. And it was a crew called Ground Control versus Rockin' the Floor. Those are the crews that I came up watching, and they were amazing.
Let's just hop right into this, man. We're gonna roll this first clip from United Styles. Now, I can't imagine what it would have been like to be at this iconic event, and this battle specifically. Everyone in this generation knows about this battle.
So this battle was crazy because this was the second one that we did as Squadron. It was in Boston. The event was one of the first kind to have a huge cash prize. Only thing that I didn't like about this battle was that it was a three-way. That kind of affected the dynamic between the crews that were battling. But all three of these crews have actually made a really good career out of breaking, which is dope to see now, years later. Is that Wilfie? Yeah, and he just designed the medal. And Luigi was supposed to be battling with us, but then his crew entered, so he had to be loyal to his crew, and they killed it. After I had just gone out and went off, so I was like, man, I gotta do a good round.
Love it.
Abstract is one of my all-time favorite b-boys. Not that I wanted to go against him or any of those guys, but since I had to, I was trying to do the best I could do.
On that point, what was the dynamic from what you remember with Squadron and maybe Skill Methods?
Well, because we're all boys. Skill Methods and Squadron, we're all cool with each other. But it was dope that it was not that they hadn't been battling much, but we haven't seen them head to head, so it'd be cool to go against them. As Squadron, we were on a pretty good winning streak. 9 or 10 battles that year that we won as Squadron.
Crazy.
And then we ended up losing that one, but it was cool. That was the end of our streak.
This is kind of a larger point that I'm maybe asking you to speak on. What is it about, having other motivated people, hungry people that are talented and just ready to win, having those people around you at the time? Did you feel that?
Oh, definitely. The breaking scene was super healthy. Everywhere you went had more than one crew in each city and stuff. And a lot of young dancers coming up and dancing really hard. So that was motivating too. And then to have my whole crew, we were always training hard, and the guys I had around me were at the top of their game. So it motivated me to get how I danced at that level, Because a lot of the guys in my crew are big dynamics and stuff like that. So I always just try to keep up with my style with theirs.
You use the word healthy when you're talking about, having crews in all the cities, having the younger generation. It's not just having hungry people, but you have just a volume of people.
Yeah, volume of people, yeah. Everyone plays a part, everyone's good at something.
Another 2011 clip, but this one's a little bit different. This is a practice clip.
First of all, that song's nasty. Windmills of the Mind. One of my best friends, Insight, from My 180 and Flipside, he made this clip. It's me, Insight, Incredible Josh, and Heps Fury. We all had this one practice one night, and this was at Insight's house. What's crazy is that we do have footage of all of us, but Insight ended up just making a clip of me. And it was like, hey, yo, it came out really good, I'm gonna put it out.
So just the kind of energy you can put together when you get a bunch of killers in the same room, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Every movement here, there's just such a clarity and coherence. Sometimes I think us B-boys, we get caught in the details. Sometimes we're doing complicated things just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's something to be said about maybe finding beauty in the more simple things?
Oh, most definitely. I say it in workshops all the time, like, we have something that we call a picture concept. So no matter what you do from the beginning to end, when you walk out from the cipher to back into the cipher, everything that you're doing, they're taking a picture of you. And so you won't, even your first step out, like, you want to look as cool as possible, like they're taking a picture. Just every single step, have the most detail we can, best form as possible. Ever since they gave me that concept, I'm like, whoa. It turned my breaking around. I feel like I saw the light.
What you're saying, basically, is you have to make every single moment count. Even like you're saying, the moment you step out, every facial expression, every hand motion.
Every hand motion, even if it's just an Indian step, a corkscrew.
Like, no matter what you do, big moves, little moves, small steps, whatever, give it the most potential, then you're golden.
We're jumping in time a little bit here. This is in 2014.
Man, I kind of forgot about this battle. Vicious Victor was one of like our newest members in the crew. I think like 2010, 11, and 12 was like my prime time. And this was too relaxed but seasoned at the same time and brushed up. And I think like I had all my concepts and everything together.
Seasoned, like you're a cold stone killer, like you're ready. You're ready to go.
I was ready at all times.
Like, I always like what we say, attack. Like, if I'm battling, we attack.
So you were mentioning Vicious Vic coming onto Squadron. Can you give us a little bit of backstory about that?
We're both from Orlando. I would see him around all the time. Me and Mex would see him around all the time. And then I started working with his cousin at Universal Studios, and I was trying to bring him along to break with us. He was super young, but he was super talented. He just kept killing it in town. He started breaking around us, and we would give him pointers. And one of the first times we started bringing him out, I took him with me to IBE, and he was so young that I had to go get a permission slip signed by his parents, so I had to be his guardian. So it was just like to see his journey from here to now. He's an Olympic gold medalist now.
Yeah. Breakthrough. We're jumping forward once again into time.
So Breakthrough in Switzerland. Dirty 30 battle is 2019. Yeah, 2017 I was on tour, and then 2018 I started getting back into battling again heavy.
You were touring before this.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was touring on the Justin Bieber tour. I toured for about a year around the world. After the tour finished, I ended up staying in LA, moved there and living close to the rest of the Squadron guys. That was like the first time in, like, I guess, crew career where almost everyone from the Squadron lived in the same city, because we're all from different areas. The East Coast, West Coast, South. Definitely training like crazy, doing a lot of projects, throwing events, doing battles, workshops, and tours and all that. Yeah.
Like I said before, you get a bunch of killers in the same room. Things start happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tour, what was the daily life with that like? Were you breaking?
It was a little bit of everything. We actually never stopped training, because I was on tour with Luigi, and me and him like loved to hit the lab. So we're always training. We were always training, especially when I got on tour. I would just show up to any city I would get to. I'd be like, yo, any B-boys, B-girls out here? Where's the practice spot? And we would go practice. If not, we would just go find a spot in the hotel room. We were touring with a huge group, of people. It was like 100 people, but 25 dancers and only 2 b-boys and 2 trickers. You know, we would get into the city, check into the hotel, go find something to eat, then go kick it and go shopping, whatever, and then come back to the hotel and find a training spot. And then the next day we would go do the show and then pack up the next morning and go to the next city and do the same thing all over again.
B-boy life, the dream B-boy life, right. Is there any advice that you could give for younger folks that are maybe considering that sort of career path as a breaker? Yeah.
Learn your foundation, learn your skills to its highest and most professional potential. Always be professional. If you want to do the tour life and all that stuff, you just got to remember that it's mostly about them wanting to live around you for a long period of time and be able to work with you. So you always have to have a good attitude and be a respectful person and humble and just be serious about your job. Because you could have all the skills in the world, but if you have a, excuse my language, but a shitty attitude, then, you know, if you break, you're more than enough for that entertainment business too, you know? Like, we have a skill it's a rarity.
We can't get away from this interview without talking about your tops.
My tops.
The intricacy in your steps, the use of your arms like we talked about, the picture approach.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for the overall shape, how you use your arms, just how composed, how relaxed you look when you're rocking the beat. Can you give us some Toprock Game for the boys out?
I do love to ride the music. I like to use my feet as I'm the drummer. Like, I'm straight up the drummer. I focus on that, and obviously all that goes and blends well with the music. Every time I do a step, it's a different step. It's not always one repeating the same thing. I like to do a lot of steps in between while I'm doing top rocks. And just the way I treat like the floor, my footwork and all that, I like to treat my top rocks. I used to study guys like Easy Rock, Ken Swift, Incredible Breakers, and my 180 put me on a lot. Kuso and Hebs Fury are on some next level stuff when it comes to rocking and top rocking. I've always been into top rocks since before I ever got in my 180 or any of the crews. That's just something I was always into because I felt like I understood the music aspect of it and how to rock it. There was a time where I was just completely traditional with my tops. I started learning how to house. That helped my top rocks out. I mixed it, but I never showed the house part of it as house. I just blended it in with my breaking. So that was something that helped my dance a lot, different rhythms and stuff like that. Something that was told to me too, if you want to be good at tops or that part of breaking, just as much as you practice like a windmill or a head spin or a trick or anything you do, you want to put just as much time into the dance part too, you know? And it's all going to pay off. It's also one of the most important parts because it is the part of the dance. It is the dance. And it also sets the flow for the rest of your round. It shows your character too. The new scene needs to consider actual top rock foundation. The most basic steps to the most intricate steps that you can find, learn them. And learn them both directions. Every which way and every tempo, slow it down, speed it up. Practice the slow music, practice too fast music. There's a lot of basic steps that I feel like are overlooked nowadays.
There's something to be said about making sure you slow things down, letting your brain chew on certain ideas, right?
Definitely.
And not rushing it. You said something towards the beginning about you're the drummer for music and when you're doing your top rock. Could you kind of expand upon this or kind of reiterate what you mean by that?
Say for instance, the difference between like me and David, Kid David, if you see him rock a song, you'll probably see him rock the horn section and the bass and all this part, you know, and he'll hit it completely, everything from boom, 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 boom. And then you see me come in and you're gonna hear me just really, really accent the drums. Because we break, right? We break to breaks. So I've always break to the break of any song. That's where I start with and then go into the rest. So I like to, because you know, I'm also a son of a drummer, so I've always like really focused on the drums. Just do the research out there. There's plenty of guys that set the bar really high back in the days. That, like I said, Easy Rock, B-Boy Float, Ken Swift, Swift Rock, and Speedy from Battle Squad and stuff, incredible breakers, like K-Mel and Hebs Fury, Flea, Troll. None of them break the same, but they all have the foundation, like strong foundation. And so that the character comes out when you have that, you know?
We're actually getting to a close here, Keebz, on this discussion here. We've covered a lot of really good things to talk about, whether it's, I guess, more tactical stuff for your breaking as it relates to Toprock. We've also talked about mindset things too. We've talked about the people that you're around, how you draw inspiration from other people or the music or other things that you might do. But really what I want to do is kind of button this all and tie it all in a nice ribbon and talk about how life relates to breaking. It's inevitable that breaking affects, other aspects of your life,
definitely.
other aspects of
Yeah.
life affect your breaking. Just put simply, let's start here. What does breaking mean to you, man?
Man, it's a complete lifestyle. Yeah, it's something you do, but I don't think it's for everyone. Those who are in it, they know why they're in it, and it's for them. Breaking's been my life since I was 12 years old, 11 actually, but 12 years old. Also, at times when I'm not focused, you could tell in my breaking I'm not focused either, and also sometimes the breaking takes more focus out of it than my life, and sometimes I have to focus on my life more than breaking, so it can be hard to balance, but at the same time, it's my life, so. It's a tradition too, because it's always evolving, and it's a brand new scene now, and a lot of new faces. I kept doing it, and a lot of my friends that do it kept doing it too, to show the traditional aspect of the dance and the origin of it, in a sense, so we could keep that alive, because everything's evolving and everything's more advanced now and stuff, but to keep the essence of the dance is super important. There's events and there's jams, there's spectacles and there's performances and stuff like that. Like, I think it's still important to keep the culture alive, like by doing these jams that just bring an environment, more than just competition based. There still needs to be certain criteria to keep up with, in a sense, where, like I said, like before it was a big thing if you were original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're dancing, if you're like well-rounded, and, like I'm not a power head, but I still do all of that stuff and put it in my dance as much as I can. Also, we try to show the essence of the dance, and I feel like it's important for the younger generation that's coming up to study up on that. Like nowadays, like people don't care, they'll call you out, and no matter how long you've been dancing, all that stuff, which is cool. But back in the days, I wouldn't dare call out Ken Swift and disrespect him for judging against me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, he's my elder and he knows what the heck he's talking about. So whether I didn't agree or not, there was a reason why he chose that,
You're describing a previously more wholesome and, like you said, healthy community.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I use this analogy all the time, that it's becoming more like how the skating scene is. When someone learns a trick, it made it possible for everyone else to learn it now. So everyone starts learning that trick and using that trick at all the competitions. And so that's kind of happening to the breaking scene, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but it's cool because it's evolving and it's expanding the fundamentals of the dance. When someone's judging and you keep seeing the same moves over and over again, just different combos, once you see someone else as doing something completely different and fresh out of the box, it's gonna give it way more value, because it's like, oh, I've been seeing this all day. Now this guy who did like these different moves that I haven't seen all night, all right.
So like you're saying, making sure that there's hopefully organizers that are still facilitating jams.
Yeah.
Not just events,
Which I feel like I'm not taking away anything from events or competitions. It's a big demand. The kids are asking for it. That's what they want.
Yeah.
That's what they know. And that's what I mean by we're trying to keep the essence of the dance still, like having that aspect of the dance out there, because I'm pretty sure there'll come a time where these kids grow up and they're gonna look for that too. It's like, cause they're so into the competition that one day they're like, yo, I just want to go get loose. I just want to hear some music. I just want to vibe out with people.
It's gonna touch them in a different way.
And it's gonna touch them in a different way. Yeah. It's gonna inspire them in a different way. Which, like I said, for us that grew up in that era, it was natural for us. It was like, oh, because that's how we started. So the kids that are starting now, they're starting off in competitions. So you can't blame them. Like it's all good. Like that's what they know, and that's why they're so good at it.
I really like the way you describe it too. It's positive. The scene's gonna take care of itself.
It's gonna
overall.
overall it's gonna take care of itself.
I'm proud of where the dance is going. If you're interested in anything I said or what I'm talking about, the lessons are out there, man. The videos are out there. The people that you could talk to. There's jams that you could go to that still keep that aspect alive, and be one of the ones who make a difference in the dance. Make your mark. You know, everyone should strive to leave their mark in the scene, and no matter how you do it, like whether it was with breaking, with doing jams, with I don't know, doing flyers, being the DJ or something. Just keep the culture running, keep the culture going, and each one teach one.
Absolutely, well put. So that's gonna do it for today, Keebz. I just want to thank you once again for your time today.
Yeah, man.
It's an honor to share your story. I truly wish you well with everything in the future.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So we're gonna end it right there. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.